are achieving and they're extending a hand up to the community around us. What is a woman, well, dare I say, I think of Alicia Keys more specifically, she spoke about a woman's worth, but what makes a woman of worth? My special guest today is the president of an organization called Women of Worth, and she is originally from England. She's now a Bahamian with a story about guts and glory. Joy Simmons.
A woman of worth, in my estimation, and as you alluded to, the fact that I dealt with cancer some years ago, and I believe it was during that particular time, strangely enough, that the Lord really allowed me to come to what it is that I really need to do after going through not only physical pain but emotional pain. I realized that in all of this, God was with me, and there are a lot of women who are going through painful situations, and they cannot find themselves. And so, like I said, the Lord spoke to me about what it was I needed to do. He wanted me to be able to pour into other young women and let them know that they are precious in His sight.
What is it like? And I realize that it may be something that's sensitive to talk about.
No, I'm good.
What is it like having to deal with, first of all, learning that you have, as it was in the case for you, cancer? When did you learn that? How did you absorb that news from your doctor?
Well, that's that kind of news you don't absorb, because you're like, it can't be me. So it tends to go over your head at first, and then when the doctor actually says, well, this is what the situation is, then you say, okay, how am I going to deal with this? And I remember clearly, as I shared with you in our previous conversation, when the doctor told me what the situation was, I did not even have enough, if this is a word, collectivity to dial my husband. I couldn't remember his number because I just simply became numb. But again, I can hardly leave God out of my conversation. As I jumped in my vehicle to try to go back to work, there was a song on the radio that came on that said, I still have joy. I still have joy after all the things I've been through. I still have joy. When I reflect on that, that song was actually prophetic for me, because I was just about to begin my journey. And it actually says, after all the things I've been through, but I was about to embark on a journey. But the Lord basically said, you're going to be all right. You're going to make it.
Joy, is that also to say that even for a person who may not get news like that, cancer or a serious illness, you're suggesting that there are persons among us, in this case specifically women, who have situations in their lives, experiences that they've had, issues unaddressed that are eating away at their soul, their heart, their spirit?
Oh, most definitely. And I think the worst part about that is, again, we live in times where people are afraid to speak to persons because people don't trust people. They can hardly find persons that they can trust. And so, because they are afraid to share what it is they're going through, whilst it may not be a physical cancer, but a situation, it eats away at them because they keep everything inside. You can't deal with cancer until you know that's what it is. As a matter of fact, you can't deal with any illness until you know what it is, or you accept this is what it is, and you have to be prepared to deal with treatment. And so people don't want to say what's going on in their lives, but to a woman that's listening today, you've got to find someone. There has to be someone that you're able to express yourself to. That's why sometimes we find we have these explosions. People, they implode first and then they explode because they have no avenue for any kind of outlet.